Hello and welcome back to Nerd Corner.
Welcome. Hi, guys. It's been a while since I've been here.
Indeed, it's been quite a while. If you want to know the full story of why we've been on an extended hiatus, I went into the details of that in our last video, our review of the all-new, all-different Marvel Universe. And I guess today we'll be talking about the rumors of the all-new, all-different DC Universe.
Yeah. So what's going on with that, man?
I don't know if this is where the news emerged from, but this is where I read it. So on cosmicbooknews.com, they put out an article about how it's rumored that DC Comics are going to relaunch again this summer, following their annual summer event. But from what I gathered, the rumor is saying that it won't be a complete reboot. It'll be more like all the comics will restart from issue 1 again, and they'll tone down the number of books to be like they'll only put out books that have to do with characters who are in the movies or the TV shows.
Right. So they're basically just doing what Marvel did.
Yeah. Except more Batman.
Ugh. I mean, yay?
Yeah, on one hand, I think it's really awesome because there are a lot of books that DC is doing right now that they don't need to be doing.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like it takes away from the creativity that could be going, or just the effort that could be going into other books because they're stretching themselves so thin. But at the same time,
yeah, I understand.
At the same time, it's like, what's going to happen to all the writers and artists who are writing the other books? Like, are they just going to lose their jobs now, or what's going to happen?
Yeah, I get you.
That, and there have been 2 updates, one of which is not important at all.
Oh, is that so?
That one is that with this new reboot, the Teen Titans are rumored to just become Titans.
Dun dun dun!
Indeed. But
what could this mean for the future?
Yeah. Or they could just call the book Young Justice.
No, but really, what could this mean for the future? I don't know.
It probably won't mean anything.
Oh.
But the one thing that will send shockwaves throughout DC, and I'm sure of it, is that Scott Snyder is rumored to be leaving Batman as the head writer, and he's rumored to move to Detective Comics instead.
What?
And this is right off the heels, and I think this is confirmed, that starting in the summer, Batman will become a bi-weekly comic book.
That's a lot of Batman.
So instead of one every month, it'll be one every 2 weeks. And from what I gather, Scott Snyder doesn't like to do tie-ins to events.
But he likes to do bi-weekly?
No, that's what Batman is going to become when Scott Snyder leaves, is a bi-weekly.
Oh, when he leaves.
So people think that they're making it bi-weekly so that way it can tie into events. And that's why Scott Snyder is leaving.
Oh, I see. This is like an anger move for him.
So instead he's going to move to Detective Comics, which also makes sense because Scott Snyder has said before that he likes to make more personal stories, than like the big extravagant stories that DC likes to make with Batman. And Detective Comics is much more about those personal stories with Batman.
Right, I can see that. So, what do you think this could mean for the future of Batman then, with Scott Snyder leaving? Like beyond this event.
From what I remember, Detective Comics hasn't sold nearly as well as Batman since the 1960s. And really, the only reason that DC keeps Detective Comics and Action Comics around is because if they canceled them, there would be an uproar. It's sort of like Marvel canceling the Fantastic Four. Like, not a lot of people read Fantastic Four, but as soon as they canceled it, everyone was up in arms and freaking out.
So you think they're just trying to avoid a Fantastic Four situation here?
They're keeping Detective Comics around, but with Scott Snyder moving to Detective Comics, I think this summer we're going to see, for the first time since 1960, Detective Comics outsell Batman.
Oh, that might be interesting.
Because there are a number of good writers that could take over Batman. Like I think his name's Ray Fox. What's his name? Something Tinian. I forgot what his first name is. But a Tinian. But Tinian is the name that you see on the cover, so you should know what I'm talking about. But I like to call him Scott Snyder's protege, even though he probably isn't. But like every book that Tinian writes that's about Batman, Scott Snyder is also co-writing it. So I feel like like Scott Snyder has been planning to leave for a while, and he's been writing stuff with Tinian, so that way Tinian can come and take over for him on Batman.
Yeah, I would imagine that's a plan in the making, because that's not a decision you just make out of nowhere. I wouldn't be surprised if he was planning.
But yeah, like again, like that's the thing. Like no matter who they get to replace him, I think that Detective Comics is going to start outselling Batman.
Maybe not outselling, but definitely getting up there in sales. Because not everyone that follows Batman follows it distinctly because of Scott Snyder.
But you would think that everybody who jumped onto the New 52 would follow Scott Snyder to Detective Comics.
Yeah, I'm sure you're going to see a very large percentage of people jumping over. Detective Comics is definitely going to have a pretty big rise in their
like I don't know if it's like I'm like I have a feeling that I'm going to be in the majority of people that instead of just jumping off of Batman, now I'm going to have to add Detective Comics into what I'm buying, which is probably what DC is going for anyway.
Yeah, this is a nice way to like boost the sales of a lesser known thing here.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's cool because we're going to see more of a focus on assuming that everything goes well with this whole move. But I think we're going to see a lot more, like you were saying, that personal type story that they like to do.
Yeah, like I know that Detective Comics definitely focuses more on Batman taking on like the mob and the different gangs of Gotham instead of like big supervillains.
Yeah, like those small at home, kind of keeping to the vein of what Batman was supposed to be.
Yeah, like I know maybe it's not the most recent story arc, but the most recent one that I remember is him taking on Anarchy, as Anarchy turned the different gangs of Gotham against each other.
I mean, that's not so much a bad thing, though, right? Because, like, they're gangs.
Well, yeah, but, like, the city's caught in the middle.
Yeah, but, like, just for a little bit.
But...
It's the purge.
But, like, another thing that... Like, I'm really hoping that they talk about this more, and they give more specifics about it, is because if they're going to be cutting down on the other books... I want to know if every, like, because there are people who are in the Justice League movies who aren't going to be in the Justice League comic books. Like, for example, Green Lantern is in the comic book, but Green Lantern won't be in the Justice League movies until Green Lantern Corps comes out in 2018, I think.
Which is way too far ahead, by the way.
Yeah.
No one's going to care about superhero movies in 2018.
I don't know, man. Green Lantern Corps looks pretty awesome. I don't know if you know about Green Lantern Corps, but apparently it's supposed to be like a Guardians of the Galaxy type movie where the team is made up of Hal Jordan, Guy Gardner, Jon Stewart, Kyle Rayner. Like all the Earth Green Lanterns.
I mean, I never cared about Green Lantern to begin with.
I like Kyle Rayner.
You like one of them.
And Jon Stewart. And Hal. But I hate Guy. I hate Guy, but that's his character. You're supposed to hate him.
Are you? Is that so?
Yeah, he was in the Justice League for a while, back when the Justice League sucked, and it had Booster Gold on it, so that's why it sucked.
Booster Gold.
So there's a comic where he's like yelling at Martian Manhunter and he's yelling at Blue Beetle and stuff, and then Batman walks in and he's like, "What are you doing, Guy?" And then Guy's like, "You know what, Batman? You know what, Batman? Here!" And he takes his ring off and he's like, "Me and you, right now, let's go!" And then Batman just punches him straight in the face and knocks him out, and Blue Beetle and Booster Gold just start busting out laughing in the background.
That's great. That's a nice scene in a horrible comic.
I was talking to somebody earlier, and they were like, "What do you mean the Justice League sucked in the '90s?" And I was like, "Do you know who Jasmine is?" And he was like, "What?" And it's like, exactly.
No one does. That's the point.
You know, those great characters like Jasmine and Bloodwind, Booster Gold.
My favorite part about DC is that almost all their heroes are just replicas of each other in different colors. Like Cyborg and Blue Beetle are basically the same thing.
Well, the new Blue Beetle, what's his name? Jaime Reyes? Yeah.
Basically the same thing.
Basically the same thing.
There's Hawk Girl, and then there's Hawkman. And then I know there's like at least 3 other people that just have wings.
Probably, yeah.
Shazam and Superman are basically the same
That's
version.
one of the things I don't understand about Shazam and Superman, is that Shazam came from a different company, and then DC sued that company because Shazam was too much like Superman. So in the lawsuit, they gained the rights to Shazam, and then eventually they just put Shazam into the DC universe.
Yeah. Oh, and just real quick, can I talk about this... what was it? Legends of Tomorrow?
Oh yeah, Legends of Tomorrow. Haven't seen it yet.
I'm not excited for it.
Well, it came out yesterday.
Nobody on that show is anyone I care about.
Oh, see, but maybe it's just because I watch the shows. Because I know that you don't watch the shows.
But who gives a shit about Hawk Girl?
Okay, Hawk Girl and Hawkman are stupid. But that's just because they've always been stupid.
Can we name the episode title... I don't know who that is.
Rip Hunter, played by the one and only Rory Williams, Arthur Darvill.
You mean Nick Fury?
Dude, Rip Hunter is awesome.
Nick Fury.
Imagine a space cowboy, and you've got Rip Hunter.
The Star-Lord?
Exactly. Except more gritty. And Booster Gold's son.
Star-Lord. So in conclusion, DC has no original ideas.
To be fair, most characters from DC that are rip-offs of Marvel, DC actually did them first.
But they're not great. Marvel did them better. Let's agree to that.
Marvel did not do Darkseid better.
What's wrong with Darkseid?
Darkseid is amazing, and then Marvel created Thanos, which was almost as cool as Darkseid, but not quite.
Darkseid... Thanos is cooler than Darkseid.
Have I shown you the comic where Darkseid falls down a flight of stairs?
No.
It's amazing.
I have nothing to say, actually.
He's talking and he's like, "Earth will be my..." Oh! And he like falls down a flight of stairs and all the soldiers like, "What do we do?" I don't want to laugh.
Hey, everyone has those moments, okay? I bet you Hitler fell down some stairs once.
You know, probably. But I would have left.
Yeah. Me too. You know what's not funny? The fact that they're taking Teen out of Teen Titans.
Yeah, that's just what...
I'm in outrage. That's everything that this show stands for.
It's just... Oh, God. Anyways. DC Comics rumored to relaunch. Maybe it'll be good.
You know it won't be good? Legends of Tomorrow. Alright, everybody. That's all I got.
Alright. We will be back soon with I don't know what. Maybe a Let's Play. Maybe another discussion video like this. Maybe a comic video. I have no idea.
So for more almost accurate news, come back to Nerd Corner.
Indeed. Indeed.
Adios.
Farewell.
Auf Wiedersehen.